Welcome to the Great Work of Your Life interview series produced by Revealing Genius. To say our guest today is a social impact leader and change catalyst is understatement. He's the founder of Activate Action, a nonprofit supporting young individuals with HIV and disability in Homo Bay, Kenya. He is the founder of centers, two youth-friendly centers that provide a safe space for young people facing challenges like unemployment, mental health issues, teenage pregnancies, and he himself mentors on many essential life skills. In addition to that, he is on a mission to eradicate three big things: HIV, malaria, poverty. He contributes to national strategies on a national steering committee to end HIV. He participates in the Malaria Youth Army, raising awareness and working toward malaria elimination. And he is a one champion for East Africa, advocating for sustainable development and poverty eradication. This he does on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. This is what he does. Most importantly, he is involved in peace-building initiatives as part of the Commonwealth Youth Peace Ambassadors Network, and he serves as a global peace ambassador for Homo Bay County. And this is most important. I wanted to say congratulations. He is a Mandela Washington Fellow for Young African Leaders, one of the very few. So please help me welcome Mr. Rogers Omollo.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I am so thrilled to have the opportunity to interview you. So it's nighttime in Kenya. It's morning here in the United States. So I appreciate you staying late in the office to conduct the interview. We're going to dive right into the questions, shall we?
Yes.
You are doing some really important work, Rogers. So what gives you energy and what drains your energy?
Thank you so much for that question. I'm having energy based on the work that I do, and actually how the work that I do support young people. Like you mentioned, I support young people living with HIV and disability, and just having them smile gives me energy. And I'm so happy because putting a smile on someone's face is not easy, but if you're able to put a smile on a face, then most definitely you should have energy from that. My energy actually goes into the work that I do, and sometimes it's draining if you're not able to balance your life, personal life, and basically not being able to address the challenges and expectations that young people living with HIV and disability are facing. So most of the time you'll find I'll find myself feeling low because there's someone that really needs my help, but I'm not able to support them. I'm not able to intervene. So such because I'm really looking forward to ensuring that these young people always smile. When I see you not smiling because of a challenge that I'm not able to address, that will take my energy.
Great answer. Thank you so much. And the work that you're doing is so important. And you and I have got to know each other a little bit prior to this conversation. And one of the things I heard you say was you're on a mission, like you're aiming to challenge the stigma associated with HIV and disability. Like this is part of the great work of your life. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I come from a community where young people living with HIV and disability are not able to access healthcare, education, or even employment opportunities because of stigma. So due to stigma, these young people are left behind, and this is also leading to generational poverty. Because if you're not able to access education, meaning you'll not be having opportunity even to compete for a job. And I'm coming from that community where out of 100 people, 16 are HIV positive. And out of 100 people, 4 are living with disability. So it's really challenging to address these issues. And because of stigma, you find like young people living with disability, some are even caged. They are not able to, they are not allowed to go out. and that blocks them even from going for even normal services like even attending church because of stigma. So my work basically is to reduce stigma associated with HIV and disability and ensure that these young people are able to access these services because these services are very important and essential to them. And what we do basically, one, we enhance the coping mechanism through our mental health services. So we have a psychosocial support group for these young people living with HIV and disability because these are permanent conditions. We cannot change them, but we are trying to enhance them. So one, we provide mental health services through the psychosocial support group. We also provide economic empowerment and livelihood opportunity, where there are those that we train on entrepreneurship, there are those that we give startup grant, and also train them on leadership so that they're able to speak for themselves. We are trying to reduce their we are trying to boost their self-esteem so that they're able to come out and also advocate for their issues and also speak out for issues that affect them so that we reduce this stigma. So actually, my focus, our drive basically, it's because of the challenge that we're facing in the community, and we want to change this narrative by reducing stigma. Because I believe when there's no stigma, these young people will be able to come out, they'll be able to go for healthcare services, they'll attend school, and there'll also be opportunity for job and employment.
Your effusiveness is palpable for the work that you do, and I noticed that you are highly educated. Oh my gosh, I'll just read it. These are just a few of the things. In addition to your fellowship, you have a degree from Y University, a Bachelor of Science in Community Health. You have a certificate in guidance and counseling from the University of Nairobi. You have human centered design courses from Georgetown University and a diploma in community development from St. Paul's University. And even in addition to that, you have another diploma in business management from the European Business University of Luxembourg. So you have a lot you've accumulated a lot of knowledge. And I think folks on this call, including me, are curious. When did you realize you knew what the great work of your life would be?
Actually, I was brought up with my grandfather. I lost my mother when I was very young, and then I was taken in with my grandmother. And in that process, basically, I was brought up in a very poor family. And maybe one scenario that I can talk about: the first time I got to put on a shoe, I was joining secondary school. I was in I was 15 years old. So that will also reflect the kind of poverty cycle that I came from. And I was not able to access basic education by then. So I used to drop out of school. Sometimes I was on the street because I'm not able to go to school. But my grandmother managed to convince me. And I remember my grandmother telling me that she feels like when I grow up, I'll be taking alcohol. And because I'll be taking alcohol, I should just go back to school so that when I'll be taking alcohol, I'll be able to know or read, or rather read the name of alcohol that I'll be taking. So I decided to go back to school. And actually, that is when I noticed that there's power in education. And because of challenges that we face here in Kenya and Africa, access to education is really challenging. So I managed to go to high school. Then after high school, I started volunteering with community-based organization. That's where I got my passion in terms of basically learning community service. And I decided to do my first course that I did took at St. Paul's University on community development. And having gotten that opportunity, I started serving in the community as a volunteer. And then now Activate Action came in when now I was working with Ministry of Health, Omagh Bay County. That is where I noticed that young people are not able to access reproductive health services. So I started a youth-friendly sexual and reproductive health facility here in Omagh Bay, where general young people will come to access free information and services on reproductive health. But now, even when we had this facility, I noticed that young people living with HIV and disability are not coming. So we therefore started Activate Action, to champion for the rights of these young people living with HIV and disability, and to ensure that there is a inclusion in terms of gender, in terms of disability status, and even HIV status. So mostly what I do is driven based on the life experience that I had, the community challenges that we are facing. Generally, even my community, there are family members who are HIV positive. There are young people that I'm also taking care of that were born with HIV. So this I'm doing it for my community, and actually I just want to change that narrative because having grown in a family where there are people who are affected with HIV, there are children that were born with HIV, and I saw how the stigma affects them, and changing this narrative will require interventions like what Activate Action is offering to ensure that we're able to ensure that these young people are included in policy spaces on matters health, education, and employment, and their rights are also respected.
And the next person that I would like to interview would be your grandmother. Please. I would love to interview your grandmother because she has such a big influence
Uh,
on your life. I mean,
uh,
I
uh,
kind of feel like without her, activateaction.org wouldn't exist, right?
yeah, unfortunately, my grandmother passed 3 years ago
Oh,
because, yeah, she passed. But actually, she brought up a very strong person because being that I was the last born in our family, when like I mentioned, I never grown where my father was there. My father died when I was very young, and then my mother died later, maybe within a span of 2 years. So I was taken in when I was still in nursery school with my grandmother. So she has brought me up, and actually she's one of the pillars and the mentors that I always reflect on. Just raising a child from poverty, a family household where you not be able even to access like school fees, you're not even able to access food, daily food. And now I'm here serving the community and ensuring that our community, this narrative change. So she's a hero, and unfortunately, she will not be able to interview her since that she
oh,
passed.
oh my gosh, that's tragic. And I'm so sorry for your loss, but also happy for you that you had such tremendous influence. And I love the words that you used to describe your grandmother. She was a pillar, she was your hero. Oh, and I mean, you've been through quite a bit. Um, Rogers, have you ever had any doubts or what I call freak out moments about the great work of your life? Can you give us an example?
Yeah. I've had doubts. Sometimes even now, sometimes I do doubt myself whether I'm in the right field. Because one, Activate Action is youth led, and we are young people with a very small network. There are challenges that our community is still facing. Despite the little that we are doing, we are not able to change this narrative without having partners and support that we require. And mostly, if you don't have resources to sustain your staff, to sustain your interventions, basically you're not able to like sustain even like the milestones that you've been able to achieve. And sometimes I feel like there are times that I feel like maybe I should get a job because I can say I do this work, but I'm not in any form of salary. It's more of I'm doing a voluntary work, and most of my resources, the work that I do as a consultant, sometimes still goes into supporting community members and running Activate Action. And sometimes I feel like I'm giving, like I'm in Activate Action 100%, but there are a lot that is not coming. So sometimes I worry, like, should I look for a job? Because now I've done I think I'm qualified to get a job. And there's a day like I went to the city walking on the street of Nairobi when I was like, now I want to get a job. I want to do application. Then I met this lady, and this lady, a very beautiful lady, smiling with me. Then I thought like, maybe there's a lady who maybe at least she's interested in me. Then she was, I do you know me? You can't remember me, like, oh, I can't remember. You remember me? I'm so and so. You tested me. I tested positive when I was in this level, and I wanted to commit suicide, and you decided to support me. So this lady basically, she tested positive when she was in primary school, and when she tested positive when in primary school, she wanted to commit suicide. Then I decided to support her through adherence counseling. I decided to ensure that I support her in taking IRVs, and she managed, and I took her through acceptance, and she managed, and she went to high school. Then later I met her when she was in the university, and that smile and that feedback, then I felt like, though I'm doubting myself, but if I was not there for this lady could have not made it this far. So such things, such smile, even if I doubt myself, there are little things that will keep me going and will push me to continue doing what I'm doing.
This next question is a great segue. And I know the folks who are listening now, including me, are very anxious and interested in hearing your answer. Rogers, how do you define success?
There are so many ways that I would say I will define success, but just in simple terms, uh, success to me is having to accomplish a dream that people thought that will never materialize. Success to me is accomplishing that dream. Because when I was young, my dream was to support my community, despite how small. But now I feel like I'm successful because I've supported the little that I've supported. So success to me is having accomplished your dream, having good health, and actually having people around you that believe in what you are doing and are supporting you. So that will be a simple definition for me in terms of what success means to me. Because I have a friend, his name is Chris, and Chris always say Rogers is a true meaning of success. So if you want to know if there's success, then look into Rogers' life. This is a young person that we used to when we were like after campus. We used to volunteer with him in an organization that when we were after campus, then things happened. So we were in the street walking. Sometimes we were doing car wash. And then I started small. I started activate action small because these are the dreams that I used to share with them. And now that activate action is there, you always say this is a true meaning of success. So success to me is not in terms of monetary, what you've been able to acquire for yourself, but success to me is in those that you've been able to impact their life positively.
Well said. Big impact for sure. And you're certainly moving the needle in that direction. Let's talk about your superpower. Where do you think you have spent 10,000 hours honing your superpower? What are you the best in the world, Rogers? And be unapologetic about it.
My superpower lies in serving, and especially serving young people. I love working with young people. I love providing mentorship support to young people, and most of my time, my money goes into the life of young people because I believe our future lies in the hands of these young people. And in these young people, if we can change their situation now, if they can be guided in better path, if they are given tools that they require, then we'll be able to have a better society. So I feel more comfortable. I feel well when I'm in the company of young people, not that in terms of age, but those who also have young people in heart, those who are able to support young people, those who believe in the power of young people. So my superpower is in young people. I believe so many things can be done when young people are given right opportunity, are engaged ethically and meaningfully.
Love it. Serving young people, for sure. Your superpower. Rogers, is there anything you wish you were better at?
Yeah, there are so many things that I'm still struggling with that I will. I'm also a product of mentorship. I'm still into mentoring. I'm still into learning, and that's why actually, if you went into like you're checking my education is based on just trying to build my capacity so that I'm able to do the work that I'm doing rightfully, and especially the challenges that I'm still facing is when it comes to proposal writing, grant writing, building partnership for activate action. So those are the areas that I'm really interested in because if I was to serve, then I need people, I need partners, I need collaborators that believes in me. I need skills that will allow me mobilize resources that are required to sustain these interventions.
Wonderful. This next question is a fun one. I hope you like it. I always look forward to the answer. So the fun question is, what would people be surprised to know about you, Rogers Omollo?
Uh, yeah, people will be surprised to know that I'm a last born because when I appear, people always think like I am like, because people will always think that I'm the firstborn in our family because I always have that commanding voice, and also I love taking leadership. But people will not know that this is a last born that was brought up with a grandmother, because they always say grandmothers are not better in terms of raising children. They will make you be lazy because they want to help you, they want to pamper you. But people will be surprised to know that. Another thing that people will be surprised, I'm, a, I'm an introvert person. I'm more introverted. Like I stay mostly in the house, in the office. I have very few friends in the field. Like you'll never find me maybe seated making stories. I'll prefer maybe watching football with friends in their house, but not enjoying. So that's another surprise that people will be. And yeah, I guess those are the things that people, because I'm not outspoken. When I'm walking with you in the street, everyone will be saying hello, and I'm saying hello to everyone. But now I feel that is not my space. I love being indoors. I love staying in the house. I love like my space, just being alone.
I was surprised to hear that you are an introvert. And I think it's an inspiration to all the introverts that are listening right now, because the Rogers that I know has a very powerful voice for activateaction.org. That's how I meet you. That's how I know you. That's you've sort of stepped into that space. So thank you for that inspiration from all of the underdogs and the introverts, in the world that are listening right now. I have two more questions, and then we're going to pause. And then I have a bonus question. And these next two questions, we need your advice. So the first one is, what is a book that inspired you to behave or think differently?
One of the books that I've read that really inspired me, and actually when I was trying to come up with Activate Action, was one of the books that I really love and I enjoy reading, was Seven Habits of Highly Effective Leaders. And the one part that was really critical there was now about win-win. As a leader, you need to think win-win. And that also has formed how we am engaging the community members. We are able to see the community members that we serve as as partners, but not beneficiaries. Because most of the time, we leaders or people in leadership position always think about their belly. They're not able to think about what is there for the people that they work with, people that they serve. And for you to be an effective leader, you need really to think about the people that you lead, the people that you serve, and just think about them as collaborators, as partners, but not as your employees. So that has really informed how I do engage with the community, the people that we serve, the people that we work with, and also value their time and skills that they are bringing in what we are offering.
You and our kindred spirits. The Stephen Covey book you mentioned, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it is one of the few books that I have on my bookshelf. I still have it in hardback. Most of the book reading I do is digital, but I've kept a few, and I've kept a few good ones. That's one of my favorites too. He's also written another book on trust that I think you might like. Well, you have it right there. Oh my gosh! So you and we are
I
kindred
also have
spirits.
I also have a book that I'm currently reading. This was a gift when I was in the US, and the book is Forgive. And Forgive. This is by Joyce Meyer. So it's more of like doing yourself a favor and forgiving. So it's also a powerful book that I'm also going through, because sometimes we struggle with forgiveness, especially we hold grudges on the way, even as we grow up. not being able to forgive yourself for some mistakes that you went through, that you did, maybe people who wronged you. And I know one thing that for you to be whole, because the work that I'm doing really need me to be whole mentally, physically, and everything that I do. And if you don't forgive, you will not heal. So you work with a lot of pain. And when you're not healed, then you don't get those restoration. And I believe actually my life is a product of forgiveness, because I've learned how to forgive, have been healed, and all that I have currently is maybe product of restoration, because also God is restoring me things that maybe I missed when I was a young boy, not being able to go to school, and now I have so many courses that I'm taking. It's a restoration to me, despite them coming at a later time when I'm old. But I believe all this achievement and all this work that I'm doing basically is a product of forgiveness and learning to forgive myself.
Forgive by Joyce Meyer. Thank you for that. I have not read that. I'm going to put that on my book list, and I'm sure folks that are listening are going to do the same. So I have one more question, then we're going to pause and do a bonus question. The last question is, what is your favorite quote or motto and why? It could be yours or it could be someone else's.
My motto is everyone have something to offer. Everyone has something to offer. We all have something to offer. Despite where you are, despite what you do, despite your age, you have something to offer. It can be in terms of like just a word. It can be an encouragement. It can be in terms of service. It can be in terms of like connecting people. There's no one that is worthless. Everyone has a worth, everyone has value. And there's value when it comes to giving and serving. So that would be my quote.
Love your quote, Rogers. And if someone asked me about you, I would say, what I love the most about Rogers is that what he stands for, what his brand stands for, is an inclusive society. And I think your motto really does reflect that. We're going to pause for a moment. Is there anything else you would like to add before we go into the last bonus question?
I think I'm so much grateful and honored just to get this opportunity to speak to you. It's opportunity also to reflect about what we do, and it's also encouraging because it also shows acknowledgement about the work that I do. And like I always say, I'm very open for learning. I'm open for collaboration, and I'm open for opportunities that will also serve my community in return. And I'm looking forward for opportunities that will change the narrative and ensure that our vision with Activate Action is achieved. Yeah.
For folks listening, if you're interested in learning more or if you would like to donate, the website is activateaction.org, or you can connect with Rogers on LinkedIn. His first name is Rogers with an S, and his last name is spelled Omollo. So please go ahead and connect with him. I am connected on LinkedIn, and I love following his great work. So that leads us to the last question. This is the bonus legacy question, and it goes like this. So, Rogers, if a higher power, whatever you deem that to be, if a higher power would let you do, be, have, see anything, and there are no limitations, no financial limitations, no geographical limitations, no mindset limitations, what would that look like for you?
I always say if given opportunity to be born in a different location, I'll still choose Kenya. I'll still choose my community. And if I was to be an animal, then I would also love to maybe be an eagle, because I'm dreaming of soaring higher, continuing higher, despite the challenges. But maybe to just link it with the work that I'm doing, I have a dream of being able to reach young people And currently, I'm looking forward into having a youth hub, because with these resources, if I have all that resources, I will really love to have a youth hub, which is where young people are able to get technical skills, they're able to access health services, they're able to have access to sport, and get mentally supported. And that is my dream. And the biggest dream is just having that youth hub that have all that young people require at one space. If it's sport, if it's about issues health, it's about education, they're able to attend to classes, they're able to, those who want maybe technical skills. So that will be my dream. And that's why I mentioned that I want to continue showing higher and ensuring that I fly that higher, because I believe when we will be at that point, then we shall have brought a better platform and opportunity for young people in my community to be able to access these services that they're currently missing.
What a pleasure and a privilege it is to help you get the word out about the great work of your life. Rogers Omollo, thank you so much for being here today. Again, it's activateaction.org or Rogers Omollo on LinkedIn. And I absolutely cannot wait to connect with you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a privilege and I appreciate so much.